So the root of the word passion actually means to suffer. And so the implication is how much are you willing to suffer on behalf of X? That's what it means to say I'm passionate about X. That's where the whole idea of the passion of the Christ comes from. Mm-hmm. The passion is the willingness to suffer, for the sins of humanity. So as an analogy, let's say, for what it means to follow something. Let's say my dog is running away from me and I'm chasing after my dog. So I can be said to be following my dog. I'm pursuing my dog. And he's running around corners and I'm going around the corners. Everywhere he goes, I'm going. And then there's one point where my dog jumps over a fence and I get to the fence and I say, well, I don't want to ruin my t-shirt. I'm not jumping over that fence. Am I following my dog? Am I pursuing my dog? No, I was following my dog, but I'm following my obstacle now. I'm pursuing my obstacle, right? Because I stopped chasing after the thing, right? And so
a great example, man.
Yeah, a lot of times people are, in order to follow your passion, you have to be willing.
What would Freud say about that?
That he wants to have sex with his mom.
Yeah, but he said that about everything.
I think we have our name for the episode, though. Follow your fashion.
Follow your fashion.
Hey, what's that all about? But in order for me to follow my dog in this instance, what do I have to do? I have to go beyond that obstacle, right? I have to hop over the gate and go beyond it. If I'm not willing to do that, then I'm not a passionate person. I'm not pursuing that. So a lot of times we say, well, I want to follow my passion, and we equate that with meaning I want to do what feels good all the time. Mm-hmm. But following your passion means pursuing what you believe in, even past the point of your obstacle. Another thing, you talked about making sure things line up with your values. Mm-hmm. One of the negative consequences of placing so much emphasis on following your passion is that there are a lot of people who now buy into this notion that they are some kind of sellout for not doing something that they love. So you have people that are plumbers and electricians, they're making a good living, they're providing for their family. They've been feeling pretty proud. They don't particularly love what they do, but they're content. Yeah. They're doing well. They're working hard. And now they're thinking to themselves, well, is this a bad thing? Should I be feeling more excited at my job? Yeah. And while I think it's totally legit to say, I want to figure out a way to translate what excites me into an income, there's something dangerous about getting into a space where you're now feeling guilty because you don't think you're an example to the world of what it means to follow your passion. So just make sure that as you're trying to follow your passion, you're following your passion, not the passion you think you ought to have in order to live a life that's impressive to other people.
Yeah, man. No, I totally agree. Like, to any plumber or electrician, anyone out there that's got, this job that maybe isn't like sexy and exciting and it's not, changing the world. But if someone is in that role and like they are, for all intents and purposes, they're happy or they feel like they're living a meaningful life, like that's everyone who's asking these questions, that's all they want.
Yeah.
They just want to find something where they can come home, put their head in their pillow, go to sleep and say, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm not changing the world. I'm not making my dent in the universe, but I feel really good. And that's okay. But you're right, man. Like judging, or not judging, but feeling judged and starting to look at how other people pursue their career. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble talking today.
I've been doing that too. Follow your passion, man.
But it can really hurt our pursuit.
I think that I have news for those people as well. I make a living as a writer, and it is not exciting 95% of the time. In fact, it's only exciting because the old quote, writers don't like writing; they like having written. And it's so true. Like I get to a point where all of a sudden I do feel really good or I feel accomplished. But I imagine it's the same way that like when I used to wash dishes, like I would feel really accomplished by like somehow we got through the crazy dinner rush and all of a sudden like I don't know how we cleared all those dishes in 45 minutes, but we did it and I felt accomplished afterward. It's the same thing with writing. I think it's the same thing with any profession. Most of what you do most of the time is not going to be exciting, and that's okay. In fact, if it's always exciting, it's probably an indicator that it's too comfortable. And those obstacles create the discomfort you need to grow.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, one more. You're gonna kill me.
Let's do it.
So, instead of following your passion, also experiment with the concept of flirting with your passion. So, as an example,
flirt with your passion.
Flirt with your passion. So, as an example, let's say some young guy comes in here and he says, "Hey guys, I'm I'm successful. I got a good job, but I want to be married. I want to have a wife and I want to start a family. What are some tips on finding a good wife? And then we started talking to him, saying stuff like, hey man, don't worry about that too much. Just get out there and meet people, live your life, do things you're interested in, try to make friends. That kind of feels like a consolation prize when people that are married are telling you that, right? At least it felt like that for me once upon a time. Man. Yeah, it felt like a consolation prize. Like, oh, that's easy for you to say. You already have your wife, right?
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about that approach, because that approach actually protects you from something very dangerous, and that is it protects you from going on a first date and being so obsessed with the end result that you say, as you're getting to know that person, so where's this going? You're never going to get anywhere with anyone if you talk about marriage on the first date, right? You're going to freak them out and everything's going to go wrong. Can't even talk about it on the second date or the third date. Now, I know somebody's going to be all on the YouTube comments like, well, I actually love it first sight. Right?
There's always exceptions to the rule, but by and large, man, yeah.
Yeah, but generally speaking, it sounds like a cop-out. It sounds like disappointing advice, but it works like magic. It's actually how things work in life, that you start at the level of not putting pressure on your relationships by saying where this is going. And you say, hey, let's just have coffee and let's just have a conversation. Let's see where this leads. And if this is fun, maybe we'll do this a second time with no pressure for anything else. And that's how you got to do with your curiosities and your passions as well. If you try too early to force it into something that can generate an income, you won't learn very interesting things about it that could be a pivotal part of that process later on.
Yeah.